Hey guys, so here's a step-by-step video tutorial on our ghost bag. Basically, you're going to get two files, the PDF pattern and our pattern instructions. So on the pattern instructions, I have the printing settings, the pattern assembly guide, and quickly just the sizing of the bag. So on the pattern assembly guide, I have a picture of how to tape the PDF pattern. So on the pages, you have like a light gray letter and number for each one. And so we're taping from A1 all the way to A5, so left to right. Now onto the bag itself, it's supposed to measure around 9.5 inches by 9 inches tall. And I recommend to please use like a flex foam to help it shape the bag. And lastly, I attached these freebie face appliques. It's up to you. You can use your own or you can use mine. You decide. Get creative with our ghost bag. Anyways, let's get started by first assembling or taping our PDF pattern. So again, make sure that they're in order from A1 all the way to A5. And you can overlap them on the dotted line if you want. I find it easier to cut one side only and tape it on the dotted line. Again, whatever works for you, but just make sure they're all connected at the dotted line. Let's get started and work on the front and side panels of the bag. So you're gonna need 3 out of fabric and 3 out of the flex foam stabilizer. This is super easy to sew. It's meant to kind of give it shape, like give your handbag shape. And for the ghost hands, we're doing 2 out of batting and 4 out of fabric. For this one, again, it's optional if you want the little ghost arms to open up or not. If you do, you need to sew Velcro. We're using like the tacky part of the Velcro, and we're gonna sew it on the right side of the fabric for the left and right arms. And then once you're done sewing that, we're going to pin right sides together and sew from the edge to the other edge of the curved hand. Okay, so now we're going to trim and clip the curved areas of the hand. That way it could kind of help it shape better once we flip it right sides. But yeah, again though, please remember when you're sewing the Velcro, it's the tacky part, not the soft part. We need the tacky part. That's gonna stick onto the felt face. So now we're gonna work on the front panel. And I'm marking quickly where the hands are supposed to be. That way it could guide me on where to place my face applique. Like I told you guys, I attached 2 different faces if you want to use either one as freebies. You can use your own though, again, get creative. And yeah, you need to make these out of felt because you want the Velcro to stick on there, again, if you want the little hands to open up. So yeah, I'm quickly pinning and I'm going to sew that on the front panel of our bag. Now we're going to sew the ghost hands in place so they don't move as we're sewing the rest of the bag. So I'm placing the flex foam at the bottom, and now again we're grabbing the other 2 side panels and we're going to sew them on each side of the front bag. let's move on to the back panel. So for this one, you're going to need to cut out 2 out of fabric and 2 out of foam. And for the tail, we're doing 2 out of fabric and 1 out of batting. And the same way we did the hands, we're going to do the tail, but we're going to pin it, so the curved side, trim, and clip, and then we're going to flip it right side. And you have your little ghost tail. Okay, so now we're going to pin it on the back seam. And I'm quickly going to mark the seam allowance, that way I can place it as close to the bottom as possible, or you could place it wherever you want. Again, it's up to you. Get creative with our sewing pattern. So yeah, I'm going to pin that and I'm going to sew the back together. And ta-da, we have a completed panel. Okay, so now our last panel is ready to be sewn onto our bag on the sides. Okay, so let me quickly turn it right side so I can show you how the bag is looking so far. And then, yeah, we're going to start and cut out the bottom of the bag. So this one, because I am using fleece fabric, I'm going to go ahead and just use batting. So 1 out of fabric and 1 out of batting. If your fabric is not like super thick, like mine, then go ahead and use the flex foam. And so yeah, I'm just going to pin it right sides together and sew. Ta-da! The bottom portion of the bag is done. Now onto the last section is the handbag handle. So this one you need to cut 1 out of fabric and 1 out of batting on the fold, and then we're going to pin it kind of like a taco. And so that once you're done sewing, we're going to quickly like trim and flip it right sides together. And then it'll be ready to be sewn onto the side panels of the bag. And lastly, we're going to work on the lining that's going to go inside our bag. So this one, you're going to cut out 4 out of the front slash side panels. And so we're going to sew all of them on the sides except one side, the last one. We're going to leave an opening, and I'll show you guys later on why we need to. That way we can flip it right side, like the whole completed bag right side. So yeah, I'm pinning the 4th side and leaving a big opening and just sewing the ends. And so it's supposed to look something like this. And now we're going to cut 1 out of the bottom of the bag, and like the same way we did the outer bag, we're doing for the inner lining, sewing the bottom. Now that the lining is fully completed, we're going to pin them right sides together. I'm going to start off by first connecting the outer bag corners with the lining corners. And then from there, I'll pin the rest of the bag, and then we'll sew it together. Now go to where we left the opening on one of the side panels and flip the bag right side and push the lining in the inside. The last thing to do is sew the opening shut, so you could do an invisible stitch on there. But yeah, we're pretty much done. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and here's our little ghost bag. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.